There are seasons in life when the gap between what you desire and what you see feels painfully wide. You pray, you believe, you hope, yet nothing seems to change. In those moments, you are tempted to assume that silence means denial. But hear this truth: persistent prayer is not a sign of weakness. It is proof of your confidence that what God spoke will surely manifest. Prayer is not just an emergency response mechanism. It is a journey of alignment. When you pray consistently, something begins to happen both in the unseen realm and within you. Delays start losing their power. Doubts begin to crumble. Your spirit becomes strengthened, your vision becomes clearer, and the atmosphere around your destiny begins to shift. Everything God has promised has a timing, and prayer is the bridge between prophecy and manifestation. You don't pray because things look possible. You pray because you know that God is faithful. You pray because what is unseen is more real than what is seen. You pray because persistence breaks resistance. There will be days when you feel tired. There will be nights when you cry and still have to pray, but don't stop. The moment you stop praying, you stop pushing. Manifestation is not for the casual, it is for the persistent. Like a seed in the soil, your prayers may be buried for a while, but they are not dead. They are walking beneath the surface, preparing your testimony. So pray when it's easy, pray when it's hard, pray when nothing makes sense, pray when everything seems against you. Pray until the burden lifts, until peace comes, until the atmosphere changes, until strength rises within you, and pray until it manifests. The day will come when your persistence will speak louder than your tears, and the answer you waited for will stand in your hands as proof that prayer still works. Persistence is the heartbeat of every breakthrough. Many people pray for a while, and when they don't see immediate results, they give up, thinking that their prayers have failed. But the truth is that manifestation is not measured by how quickly an answer comes. It is measured by how faithfully you continue to pray despite delays, doubts, or disappointments. When you persist in prayer, you are demonstrating your unwavering faith, and faith is what moves mountains. The spiritual realm operates on consistency, not convenience. Your consistent prayers are like ripples in a pond. They may seem small at first, barely noticeable, but over time they create a wave powerful enough to bring about change. Each time you pray, you are not merely repeating words. You are releasing spiritual energy that shifts circumstances, aligns your heart, and positions you for the manifestation of your desires. Persistence in prayer trains your spirit to trust in God's timing rather than your own understanding. It teaches patience, resilience, and hope, even in situations that seem impossible. The seed of your breakthrough may be buried deep in the soil of delay, but it is growing quietly, nourished by your unyielding faith and relentless prayer. Those who give up too soon never witness the full power of what consistent prayer can achieve. The breakthrough you are seeking might be closer than you think, but it often comes after you have refused to quit, after you have refused to allow discouragement to take root. Every persistent prayer strengthens your connection with the divine, building your spiritual muscles so that when the manifestation finally arrives, you are ready to receive it with gratitude and wisdom. Persistence is not just about the act of praying repeatedly. It is about cultivating an attitude of unwavering expectation. It is believing that what is promised will come to pass, regardless of appearances or temporary setbacks. Many people miss the moment of manifestation simply because they stop praying a day, a week, or a month too early. You must continue to speak, continue to hope, and continue to believe. Your persistence in prayer also serves as a testimony to your own spirit and to those around you, showing that faith is not a seasonal activity but a lifestyle. When you persist, you are not only speaking to the divine, but also training your heart to see possibilities where others see impossibilities. You are setting a standard for your own life that refuses to be defined by circumstance. The more you pray persistently, the more your mind, your spirit, and even your actions align with the reality you are asking for. And eventually, The manifestation arrives not just as an answer to your prayer, but as proof that persistence is the key that unlocks every door, breaks every chain, and turns every impossibility into possibility. Prayer is more than just asking for things. It is a process that aligns your heart, your mind, and your life with the perfect timing of God. Often we become impatient because we want answers immediately, forgetting that divine timing is always greater than human timing. Every answered prayer has a season, and that season is orchestrated in a way that is far beyond our understanding. When you pray consistently, you are not just making requests, you are positioning yourself in harmony with the flow of divine purpose. Prayer shapes your perspective and adjusts your heart to be ready when the manifestation comes. It teaches you patience and trust, showing you that what is delayed is not denied. Alignment through prayer ensures that you are spiritually, emotionally, and mentally prepared to receive what you are asking for. Imagine a seed planted in fertile soil. It must go through time, nurture, and growth before it can bear fruit. Prayer is the nurturing process that prepares your soul, your character, and your life circumstances for the answer to arrive in the fullness of its blessing. Without alignment, even when the answer comes, you may not recognize it or be ready to handle it wisely. Persistent prayer molds your thoughts, actions, and decisions to fit within God's perfect plan. It reshapes your expectations, refines your patience, and increases your capacity to receive more than you ask for. Every moment spent in prayer is a step closer to being in the right place at the right time, spiritually equipped and emotionally balanced to welcome your breakthrough. It also teaches you to surrender your own timetable and control, allowing faith to guide you rather than fear or doubt. When your life is aligned with divine timing, everything begins to fall into place naturally. Opportunities that were once hidden become visible. Doors that seemed closed open unexpectedly, and situations that appeared hopeless transform into testimonies of favor. Prayer is the bridge that connects your present struggles with your future blessings, and alignment is the key that allows that bridge to hold firm under pressure. The longer you pray, the more your life begins to reflect readiness, resilience, and receptivity. Timing is not just about when an answer comes. It is about being fully prepared to receive it, appreciating it, and using it wisely. When you align through prayer, you discover that delays are not setbacks, but periods of preparation. That waiting is not wasted, but necessary. And that God's timing is always better than your own. Prayer molds you into the right vessel for the blessing you seek, ensuring that when manifestation comes, it comes in full measure, perfectly timed, and beyond what you could have imagined. Many people struggle with prayer because they expect immediate visible results. They pray, look around, and when nothing changes in their physical environment, they begin to doubt whether prayer is even working. But the reality is that prayer operates first and foremost in the unseen realm, where the forces that govern life and destiny are at work beyond human perception. The spiritual world is active and alive, responding to your persistence and faith, even when you cannot see it. Every prayer you lift, every word you speak in faith is creating a shift in that unseen dimension. It is like planting seeds in fertile soil. You do not see them sprout immediately, but beneath the surface, life is stirring, growth is occurring, and preparation is happening for the day the manifestation will break through. When you pray, you are engaging with forces that are far more powerful than your current circumstances. The unseen realm is where God's angels move, where divine strategies are formed, and where your prayers begin to dismantle obstacles and resistance that would otherwise block your breakthrough. Sometimes you may feel that your prayers are ineffective, that your situation is stagnant, but in truth, the spiritual work is already happening quietly and invisibly. You are setting off chains of events that are beyond your control, orchestrating outcomes that will eventually appear in your visible life. Understanding that prayer works in the unseen realm teaches patience, perseverance, and trust. It reminds you that not everything progresses on a human timetable, and that what is seen is temporary, but what is unseen is eternal and powerful. Persistence in prayer ensures that you continue to participate in this unseen work, reinforcing the spiritual currents that will eventually manifest in your life. It also strengthens your faith, because believing in what is invisible is what faith is all about. Every persistent prayer is a declaration that you trust the unseen, that you believe the spiritual realm is real, and that God is actively responding on your behalf, even if you cannot yet measure it in the physical world. Over time, your life begins to reflect the results of that unseen activity, often in ways that surpass your expectations. Manifestation occurs not because the physical world suddenly changes on its own, but because the unseen realm has been aligned, obstacles removed, and circumstances shifted in accordance with the prayers that have been fervently and faithfully offered. The longer you engage in prayer with belief in the unseen, the stronger your spiritual connection becomes, and the more pronounced the evidence of divine action will appear in your life. Prayer is never wasted. It is always working. The unseen realm is constantly responding, building, and preparing for the exact moment when your persistence, faith, and alignment converge to produce visible, undeniable results. Understanding this truth transforms the way you pray, the way you wait, and the way you perceive every delay, challenge, or setback, knowing that the real work is happening where you cannot see, but where ultimate victory is already been secured. The moment many people fail to receive their breakthrough is not because God has refused them, but because they stopped praying too soon. Prayer is not a one-time request. It is a continuous, persistent engagement with the divine. There is a natural tendency to give up when we don't see immediate results, but true manifestation often comes at the point where persistence meets faith. Every prayer you lift, every word you speak with conviction is an investment in your destiny. When you stop too early, you cut off a flow of what could have been a breakthrough, simply because you allowed discouragement, doubt, or impatience to dictate your actions. The truth is, many victories are reserved for those who refuse to quit, those who keep believing even when circumstances suggest otherwise. Persistence in prayer demonstrates a confidence in God's faithfulness that goes beyond appearances. It is a declaration that you will not let temporary delays define the outcome of your life. Every answered prayer has a season, and that season is often preceded by a period of testing, waiting, and continuous intercession. If you give up during that period, you deny yourself the fulfillment of what is rightfully yours. Don't stop praying when the road is difficult. Don't stop praying when you feel weak, and don't stop praying when nothing seems to be changing. Each time you continue, despite the challenges, you are strengthening your spirit, building resilience, and creating a pattern of faith that aligns with God's will. Persistence teaches patience, endurance, and trust. It shows that you are committed not just to the idea of receiving, but to the process of becoming ready to receive. Your prayers are not wasted. Even in times of silence, they are working in ways that are unseen, breaking chains, dismantling obstacles, and preparing the ground for manifestation. There is power in refusing to stop, power in standing firm even when the journey is long, and power in believing that the answer is coming regardless of how long it takes. When you refuse to stop praying, you also train your mind to focus on the possibilities rather than the impossibilities. You begin to see opportunities, solutions, and breakthroughs that were invisible before. Prayer is a conversation, a connection, and a spiritual act that grows stronger the longer it is sustained. The breakthrough you are waiting for often arrives at the point when most people would have given up, proving that perseverance is as important as faith itself. So keep praying, keep believing, keep hoping, and keep speaking life over your situation. Refuse to let discouragement, fear, or impatience dictate your actions. The moment you stop praying is the moment you stop pushing the spiritual forces on your behalf. Keep going, because manifestation comes to those who persist, to those who refuse to quit, and to those who trust that God's timing is perfect. Your persistence will eventually pay off, and when the answer comes, it will stand as a testimony of your faith, determination, and refusal to stop until the promise became reality. Faith is the fuel that powers every prayer. Without faith, prayer becomes empty words. With faith, prayer becomes a force that can move mountains and transform lives. When you pray with unwavering belief, you are not simply asking for something to happen. You are declaring that what you believe is already on its way. Faith in prayer changes your mindset, your actions, and even your environment. It allows you to trust that every challenge, delay, or difficulty is part of a process designed to bring the manifestation into your life at the perfect moment. Faith teaches you to expect the answer not as a possibility, but as an inevitable reality. The moment your prayers are coupled with genuine faith, you begin to see life differently. Obstacles no longer seem like dead ends. Setbacks no longer feel permanent. Instead, you start to recognize that every situation is shaping you, preparing you, and aligning circumstances to meet the desires of your heart. Faith in prayer also transforms your emotions. It brings peace in the midst of uncertainty, courage in the face of fear, and hope when everything around you seems to be failing. When you believe that your prayer is effective, your attitude changes, and that change ripples into your daily life. Your words, your actions, and even your interactions with others are influenced by a confident expectation that your breakthrough is coming. Faith turns waiting into a time of preparation, refining your character and strengthening your spirit. It ensures that when the manifestation finally arrives, you are ready to receive it with gratitude and wisdom, not confusion or panic. Many people miss the full power of answered prayers because they focus only on the when and not the who behind the answer. Faith shifts your focus from the circumstances to the source. It reminds you that God is not limited by time, space, or human understanding. By praying with faith, you are inviting divine power to work in your life in ways that you cannot see, measure, or control. This faith is not passive. It requires persistence, patience, and consistency. It demands that you continue to believe even when the evidence is not yet visible, trusting that what is promised is already at work. Over time, this consistent faith strengthens your spiritual muscles, making you more resilient, more hopeful, and more aligned with the destiny that is meant for you. Faith transforms prayer from a ritual into a relationship, from hope into expectation, and from desire into reality. When you pray with faith, you are no longer a passive participant in your own life. You are an active partner with the divine, co-creating your future. The life you are praying for begins to manifest not just because of your words, but because your faith has activated the spiritual power necessary to bring it into existence. Every persistent faith-filled prayer becomes a seed that grows into a testimony of God's faithfulness, power, and love. As we come to the end, remember this: prayer is not a one-time act, but a lifestyle of persistence, faith, and alignment. It is the bridge between your current struggles and the reality of your breakthrough. Each moment you spend in prayer, even when the answer is unseen, is shaping your destiny, preparing your heart, and positioning your life for manifestation. Do not grow weary or give up when delays and obstacles appear. These are not signs of denial, but opportunities to strengthen your faith, refine your character, and deepen your connection with the divine. Manifestation belongs to those who refuse to quit, who believe in the unseen, who persist in prayer despite circumstances, and who trust in perfect timing. Your breakthrough is not just a reward, it is proof that persistence works, that faith moves mountains, and that alignment with the divine cannot fail. Keep praying, keep believing, and keep speaking life into your situation. Pray until the change comes, until the burden lifts, until the peace arrives, and until what you have asked for becomes your reality. The life you desire is on its way, and every persistent prayer you have offered is a stepping stone toward that manifestation. Never underestimate the power of continued faith-filled aligned prayer. Pray until it manifests, because the answer is coming, and it will arrive in full measure, transforming your life, your purpose, and your destiny forever.